moving forward, the college football playoffs, they were determined on Saturday. You had or Sunday, I believe. You had number 1 Alabama, number 2 Clemson after destroying Notre Dame in the ACC championship. You have number 3 was Ohio State and number 4 was Notre Dame. I know they did just get destroyed again by Clemson, but that's still their one loss, and Clemson is still the number 2 team. Now, we knew pretty much the 4 that was going to make it. Even though Ohio State has only played 6 games, they look dominant. And let me say this: they won all 6 of their games, and we understand. The college football committee understands they couldn't live without putting Ohio State, especially with Justin Fields being on the team, especially with a lot of people having them as the champion in the preseason. So we understand that Bama, I mean, there's no way in heaven or hell Bama couldn't make it. There's no way Clemson couldn't make it. Even though Clemson does has one loss, that's the loss that Trevor Lawrence didn't play due to COVID. We understand Ohio State does have 6 wins, but it's Ohio State, and that's a big market team. And Notre Dame, even though they did lose, they lost to a team that's in the top 4. The team, the biggest thing is Texas A&M. They feel they got snubbed because I think they went 10-1, and Cincinnati got snubbed because they had an undefeated season. Now, Cincinnati kind of has the same argument that UCF and Coastal Carolina had a couple years back, as in, we met the criteria, but we just weren't selected. Here's the thing. We all know, even though it's not, I don't believe it's fair, but it is what it is. The college football playoffs is not going to put a non-Power 5 conference or a non-Power 5 team in the playoffs. They understand that. I like what somebody, I don't remember who it was, so I'm sorry if I can't credit you. But I don't understand why the college football playoffs or college football doesn't just have like a Power 5 conference, playoffs, and then have like a non-Power 5 conference. Because if that's the case, you'll see teams like Coastal Carolina, you'll see teams like UCF, you'll see teams like Cincinnati, you'll see teams like I don't know, Memphis or something make the playoffs. Instead of instead of hearing year after year how they got snubbed for Bama, and here's the thing. I know we'll never know because they're not going to play, but I don't think even undefeated, I don't think Cincy's even close to be good enough to beat Bama or Alabama or Clemson, maybe Ohio State. Definitely, I don't know about Notre Dame either, but I do think that to make it, I know you can say extend the playoffs, which I do think is going to get extended in the next few years, but even still, you extend it and then you'll put a team like Texas A&M in Florida or something, and then there's always going to be a team that's upset. So like I said, I understand it's not going to be like 1 through 16, which I think is brilliant, but of course that just makes too much sense. I think that you should have like a Final Four in the college football with a Power 5 conference and a non-Power 5 conference Final Four championship type situation. So there's that. But looking at the teams, I don't see how there's not going to be an Alabama-Clemson championship. Trevor Lawrence and that defense looks incredible, and that offense, Travis Etienne for the Clemson, I don't see Ohio State stopping that. Now, I know Ohio State has looked good, but Ohio State hasn't played not only the amount of games that Clemson has, but the quality of people that Clemson has played. So I don't see Ohio State being Clemson. And Alabama, I mean, you have the wide receiver Smith, you have Najee Harris, like that team they're not the greatest on defense. Like that's, I know that Alabama's calling card has always been a really good defensive team and a so-so offensive team, but this year it's completely flipped. Well, the last few years it's completely flipped. Now they have their incredible offense and their defense is a little iffy, but I don't see Notre Dame. Notre Dame couldn't stop Clemson's offense. And Clemson's offense and Alabama's offense, to me, might be neck and neck. Even though Alabama, I know the quarterback even though he is pretty good, the quarterback for Alabama is not as good as Trevor Lawrence, but Alabama's wide receivers are are extremely better than Clemson's wide receivers. So it's going to be a long day for Notre Dame. So because of that, I don't see how there's not an Alabama and Clemson in the national championship. And if I'm predicting the championship now, to me, Alabama is an incredible offensive team, but their defense has some holes. I think that Clemson, when they're firing on all cylinders, is a complete team. So because of that, I have Clemson winning the national championship, but I do think that's going to be a very exciting national championship. So there's that.